Hey everybody, it's Ryan from Pod Records, and I'm here with Six Steps Beyond, surf band from Florida. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Doing great.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you're here. Love the Ramones shirt. Got much respect.
Thanks.
Why don't you introduce yourselves and what instruments you play in the band?
Okay, I'm Chris Dixon. I play guitar.
Walter Ellison, bassist.
Burt Race, I play the drums.
Awesome. So I found you through Hunter King's list of releases in 2022 on Storm Surge of Reverb. Did you guys know you were on that list?
No.
That was news to me right there. That's awesome.
Yeah. So you're out there. And I went to your Bandcamp page and listened to you guys. And then I reached out to you. I thought your music was really cool. Was it a recent thing that you decided to get together and make this music?
Oh, it was total happenstance. You know, we
met at an open mic about almost a year ago.
Yeah.
And we put some songs together. So let's record a 6-song EP, and kind of did it on my own because I have Pro Tools. And then we took to a studio and had them mix it more professionally than I can do, and put out a CD. And we're pretty new. We've only really played 3 shows, so we're still getting things out there. So,
But you were able to put out the CD on your own?
yeah.
Excellent. And for those you don't know, the link for the script in the description will link to their Bandcamp page where you can pick up the CD, I assume, and the digital version. You can sample the music and support the band. Underneath that, you can find cool pie merch and tons of surf music resources, radio, forums. So what was the crux of the band? Like, tell me, you met at an open mic, but why surf music for you?
I've loved it all my life. Obviously, I started out with like the basics, the Stones, the Who, Zeppelin, all that stuff, and then got into the punk rock, got into the metal, got into bluegrass, Americana, whatever. But I've always loved the surf, and especially over the last 10 years, I've kind of gotten obsessed with it and written these songs, and we got together and started putting them together. And yeah, just kind of like this. I like the new surf bands, like stuff from the 60s and late 50s. So what are your all's opinions on the whole surf thing?
Oh, it was a complete new genre to me. I come from the jam band background, you know, and we just happened to hook up, and the 3 of us got together, and the vibe was there, you know. And once we got together and started laying some tracks down, the creative juices started to flow, and we've been doing it ever since.
And I grew up listening to 60s music, a lot of Ventures. My dad was a drummer, and I always wanted to learn to play, Wipeout and things like that. And it's been difficult all these years to find somebody with similar interests. So when I found these guys, I found a home, and we've been collaborating, and we just blend really well together.
Awesome. Yeah, you definitely do. So in Florida, what is it like in your area to play shows? What kind of different bands are you kind of mixing it up with?
Well, there's a lot of art festivals here, and music festivals, being around Daytona, New Smyrna, Ormond, and in the greater Orlando area. There's just tons of music venues. So we're just now starting to get networked and invited into some of these venues. But we've done three in just the last few months, and have had a very good response from those appearances.
And the feedback's great everywhere we've gone.
But the bands have been all over the place that we've played with.
Mostly cover.
Yeah, the art festival last weekend. What was that band like? More like a New Orleans kind of.
Yeah, they were old school, Bourbon Street jazz type stuff last weekend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, most of the competition is typical cover band.
Okay.
There's some original eclectic stuff too. You can imagine at art festivals and things. So
Yeah.
I would say it's a healthy mix of material.
Being closer to the Daytona, like you mentioned before the interview, do you find because it's a lot of the culture down there in Florida, that you have a lot of car shows that you might have an opportunity to play at?
Absolutely. I totally want to reach out to those. Bike week, motorcycle shows.
Bike week's a big one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those are in my hometown we had all sorts of different bands play at the yearly fair, and the fair would last like 3 days, and they'd have like a different band every couple of hours for 3 days. And of course there was a car show as well. And it's a really, really cool environment. Like people hear it in the background and then they gravitate towards it. Is that what you're hoping for?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That was the way this past weekend went. Once we started, by the time we were 2 songs into the set, the crowd had actually started to flock to the stage and come to check it out, and stayed through the entire set.
That's awesome. That's
Oh yeah.
awesome. Now the very last song on the EP blew me away.
Really?
That's my
the
favorite.
The Outside In is what it's
The
called.
Outside In.
Yes, that song is my favorite on the EP. And when you close with it, I'm like, oh, they really closed that well. And it's pretty complicated song, and very, very melodic, and I love the minor structure. And tell me a little bit about that song.
Wow. I don't know what to say about that song.
That's my personal favorite as well.
Yeah.
And these songs are all, they're pretty much Chris's creations. He architected most of all the songs. But when we received them, they were still kind of rough, and so we've all had our individual contribution to it. But that one in particular, I spent quite a bit more time listening to carefully and working in the drum piece of that. But I really like the reprise at the end, where you thought the song was ended, and then boom, we roll in with with a little bit more powerful follow up to it.
That was the last song written on the CD.
Correct.
All the other songs were laying around for a long time, and then like, wow, we need another song. We need at least 6 songs for the CD, and that it was kind of forced, but it kind of came out to be one of the better ones. I guess it's weird.
It's gotten positive feedback every time it's been played.
Yeah, it's like I said, like I was listening through the record and I'm like, oh, that's different. And so it doesn't surprise me that you get a good response from that. And usually when I talk to bands, that the last song that's on their record kind of foretells what's coming down the tube for the next one. Is that kind of the direction you're heading?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah,
I don't know that there was any conscious plan for that, but we are working on some new material. We've already got a couple songs under our belts. Again, Chris is, he built the structure for it, and I think it's in the same vein as the rest of the songs, but purely original.
It'll be a little different.
Yeah, it is different. Yeah.
So
Not a lot different.
This interview will air in June. So
Cool.
what will you be doing at that time that people will need to know about?
Hopefully in June we'll have the full LP done by
Oh,
June,
really?
and absolutely with more video release as well on different platforms. We just released the Polvo video. We just released. That's my personal favorite song on there.
Yeah.
And we just released the official Polvo video.
Planet Polvo.
Planet Polvo.
Yeah.
And
We've
hopefully the story continues.
Yeah,
The story of what lies 6 steps beyond.
yeah, we've come up with a concept where we wanted to write a screenplay. Then later on, we said, "Screw it, let's do a short film." So we got this concept going on, and
So does he know about that, the screenplay piece?
I don't know.
I read something about that, but a lot of people make up like interesting stories on Bandcamp, and I don't know how serious they are about it. If that was real, I think it's a really cool idea, and you make your own soundtrack to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So each of the songs is meant to evoke a mental picture, a scene that will at some point forward accompany some kind of screenplay. That make that
yeah.
But I would hope that by June, we were just talking before this interview, that we want to work up some more material so that we have a full independent volume that we can go to show with, and have a full show as just six steps beyond. as opposed to just being a guest in a show or a festival.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Headline.
So how many, like, for a full length, how many songs are you looking to put out?
For a full length LP, 42 minutes, 45 minutes, you know, hopefully,
Okay.
I mean, the rate we're going, that'd be pushing, you know, nearly 7 songs per side, but some of them they are extended this go around. So, maybe knock it more down towards a 10-12 mark for the full LP.
Yeah, didn't you have like a lot of songs were like 2-ish minutes, and then you had like a
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, some of the newer songs, we got some longer songs too. Now.
Yeah, you had a long song
So-
right in the middle, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the newer songs, there's a couple longer ones, like 5 minutes maybe.
nice.
Oh,
Which
that's
we've never
right.
done
Yeah, yeah.
before.
One of them is right at the 4.5 minute mark.
Yeah.
So one of the new ones we just laid down.
So you said you were playing in jam bands. Did that have an influence on the length of the song?
For me, it did. For the last 12 years, I lived on the Gulf Coast, right outside of New Orleans, and so those influences, and being just out from outside of Macon, Georgia, the Allman Brothers were a big influence, and obviously the Dead were to me as well. And so that's why if you really dig in a little deep and you start hearing the rhythm tracks or the beat tracks, the bass is laying down, you can hear those influences over the top of some of those killer surf licks Chris plays.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
oh yeah, totally an influence on me.
Awesome.
So we're kind of all over the place.
Before we go, I want to mention the link in the description for their Bandcamp page where you can pick up the CD and or digital copy, sample the music, support the band as they're going to be putting out more music. You support the band, they can afford to print some vinyl maybe. And
Oh yeah.
so the link's in the description. Check them out on all social media. And thank you so much, guys, for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Oh, this
you.
was
Appreciate
great.
it.
Thanks so much for taking time with us. We appreciate it.
Can I give a shout out?
Absolutely.
If you're ever on the Gulf Coast, you got to check out Assumed Risk and Dave Maley Band. Good friends of mine. Check them out.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
brother.
Thanks.